The Boston Bruins had a chance to finish off the Florida Panthers on home ice last night in Game 5, but lost in overtime. And I can't get Just by Radiohead out of my head this morning. The chorus is "You do it to yourself, you do," and that's why it really hurts. And we're going to talk about 3 reasons why the Boston Bruins lost Game 5 here on a brand new episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke B. Today is Thursday, April 27th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. Free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. The Bruins losing last night on home ice to the Florida for one, and despondent over the result, but we press on and we talk about what went wrong and what they might be able to fix for Game 6 Friday night in Florida. Quick reminder that you can find the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Locked NHL Bruins, and you can find me, my dad jokes, and hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. Now, for me, what was particularly disappointing about last night is the fact that the Bruins got a boost in Patrice Bergeron returning to the lineup, his first game of the playoffs, and they don't get the victory. For me, it was a bit too reminiscent of Game 5 in 2019 against the St. Louis Blues, where Zdeno Chara returned after breaking his jaw, and the Bruins could not get the job done. Yes, there's a trend in this year's playoffs where the road team is winning the majority of games, but you've been so good on home ice all year long, and you should be able to close things out. And similar to Game 2, kind of self-inflicted wounds for the Boston Bruins. This team went 34-4-3 on home ice this season. They've now dropped 2 consecutive games at TD Garden, and they struggled to, find themselves early on. Head coach Jim Montgomery said in Boston, there's been, struggle to find some traction in all 3 games played on home ice. He said, for whatever reason, we don't start on time. Quote, we tend to make big mistakes right now. I don't know why. The last 2 games at home. We don't manage our ice or manage the puck. It's one of the two. When you're chasing the game like we did all night, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, then obviously you can't chase the game anymore. You spend a lot of energy. End quote. We saw in Game 2, there were those catastrophic turnovers, in Montgomery's words, and we saw that again last night. We'll talk about the turnovers in a moment, but for me, part of the problem last night was this line blending that Jim Montgomery started the game with. He separated Marchand and Bergeron. He had Bertuzzi and Pastrnak away from Pavel Zacha. He had Nick Foligno in the top 6. Jacob Lauko in for Trent Frederic. At the time, I was kind of a fan of that move. I thought Lauko brought some energy. Unfortunately, some negative energy as he took 2 penalties in this one, and I'm sure he'll be out for Game 6. If you want the team to start well, if you want them to start playing as a cohesive unit, then don't mix up the line so much. Stick with what has been working all season long for years. in the case of Bergeron and Marchand playing together. There's no reason to separate them. I get that Coyle and Marchand had demonstrated some chemistry in Bergeron's absence, but come on, just go back to what you know works. They've had some successful combos. Marchand, Bergeron, Bertuzzi, Pasternak, Coyle, Hall. Stick to what is working. There's no reason to have blended the lines as he did. And then, of course, there were the turnovers. Bert, I love you so much. Tyler Bertuzzi, but you have to be smarter with the puck there in the first period. And then, of course, there was the costly misplay by Linus Ullmark in overtime, where he played the puck behind the net instead of swinging it around the boards or being stronger, sending it backhand, kind of muffed it. Panthers gathered it up. Ullmark fell in desperation, and Matthew Tkachuk buried it to win the game for the Panthers. Saw a video this morning, Tkachuk blustering in the locker room, saying they'll be back for game 7 in Boston. I mean, if they keep playing like that, then sure. Bergeron, however, always the professional captain, said the Bruins as a whole must accept responsibility for the loss. He said Linus has been a rock for the Bruins all year. He's given them a chance to win every time he stepped out there. Can't be too hard on himself. The Bruins are a team. It's about what they do together on the ice as a unit of 6 and go from there. For Bergeron, you win and you lose as a team. It is what it is. Linus is a tremendous goalie, probably the best goalie in the NHL, probably going to win the Vezina this year. The Bruins are all there for each other, and they've always said that, so chins up for him. Linus, of course, didn't look too chipper following the game, realizing that he made a mistake, saying the rest is history. He tried to get back to the net, sends it in, trying not to put himself in positions where they can bank it off him, but he just couldn't get back in position to make the save after that miscue. So those are two big things for me that worked against the Boston Bruins last night. Overthinking the lines and not playing smart with the puck. Bertuzzi, Ullmark in particular on the first and last goals, just unforced errors, brain farts, whatever you want to call them. Cue Radiohead, you do it to yourself, and that's why it really hurts. And just an inability to win on home ice. You were near perfect on home ice all year long, and now you lose 2 in the first 5 games of the postseason. Incredibly disappointing, and hopefully they don't have to come back and play a game 7. There's no reason to be in that winner takes all in a decisive game in the opening round. Full credit to the Panthers. They kept fighting. They took advantage of those misplays, and they have every right in the world to feel pretty confident right now going back to Florida. Another issue that we'll talk about after the break is a lack of scoring from Boston's top scorer. But first, a quick word about today's first sponsor, which is our friends over at Built Bar. Built Bar has the best tasting protein bar on the market. And as a bonus, it's incredibly healthy for you as well. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise on taste, Built Bar is the healthy and tasty choice for you. What makes them so good? Well, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. They come in some unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, cookies and cream. Not sure how they do it, but they taste like a candy bar while maintaining some amazing macros. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 17 grams of protein. You don't have to wait to get a box in the mail either. You can head to your local Walmart or Sam's Club and get specialty flavors that will quite literally knock your socks off. Go to Build.com, check out the flavors that entice you, then head to Walmart, Sam's Club, pick up a box, and thank me later. Speaking of thank yous, thank you so much once again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. Everydayers, tomorrow on the show, you can expect a full preview of Game 6 with all the latest on the black and gold. Now, we do need to talk about David Pastrnak. He has 2 goals in 5 games, which is well off his season 61 pace mark, what have you. And the Bruins were presented with a glorious opportunity late in the third period to score on the power play when the Florida Panthers had 6 players on the ice. The Bruins power play has been better. They had 2 goals last night, but this for me is where David Pastrnak had to shine. He's your top scorer, clutch player, earning a big fat contract beginning next season. 61 goals. You have to come up in that situation. Jim Montgomery thought the power play could have sealed the game there, the last power play, but they didn't even get a really good look. It's not all Pastrnak, of course, to be fair. They had 2 power play goals in the game. They need more 5-on-5 scoring, especially when they're at home. They've gotten a lot in Florida. They didn't get enough in the 3 games at home so far. And this is where David Pastrnak needs to step up. There are a bunch of Bruins with more productive series so far than David Pastrnak. In fact, his 2 goals are the only 2 points that he has in the series. Taylor Hall leading the way with 5 goals, 3 assists. You have Brad Marchand, who scored 4 goals. Jake DeBrusk with 3 goals. And then you have Tyler Bertuzzi tied with David Pastrnak. But again, all of those guys have many more points. In fact, you have to go pretty far down the list to see where David Pastrnak as many points as Charlie Coyle, Thomas Nosek, Brandon Carlo. It's just not going to get it done. I love Pasta as much as anybody. This isn't all on him, but you need to get the puck in the back of the net. He is second on the team in shots at the moment after finishing first in the regular season, well ahead of Patrice Bergeron. He had 407 shots. Bergeron was second at 249. He should be shooting the puck, not deferring to Pavel Zacha or whomever when he's out there. Just get the puck on net and good things will happen. It seems as though his confidence isn't quite there at the moment for whatever reason. But he's at his best when he's shooting the puck, and he needs to stop deferring and just get the puck on net. Jim Montgomery was asked about Pastrnak after the game and what he wants to see from Pastrnak offensively. He said the puck is not going in for him right now, but it's just a matter of time. Montgomery thought he worked really hard. He thought he won a lot of battles. He was more involved maybe than he was the first 2 games at home. For him, it's just a matter of time because he is just too good. And ideally, that breakout will come on Friday against the Florida Panthers back in Florida. There were some positives last night, to be sure. It wasn't all doom and gloom. The Bruins showed some resilience, coming back 3 times. They never held a lead in this game. They came back from single goal deficits 3 times. Patrice Bergeron looked pretty good in his return. He scored. Brad Marchand added a goal. Taylor Hall remained red hot in this one. And Hall kind of echoed what I was saying earlier. The shakeup of the lines, they didn't have a jump in the first period. The Panthers were on them. They got the lead right off the bat, and it's tough to play catch-up hockey. He and Charlie Coyle played together for a long time. They have that chemistry. So it was nice to tie it up and get on the board. He said they're a confident team heading into game 6, but they have to start on time. If they start on time, play the way they did in the second and third period right off the bat, it's going to give them the best chance at coming out with the series. Panthers are playing desperate hockey. You hear about score effects when you're down. You just go balls to the wall, trying to get it leveled. Panthers playing with nothing to lose at the moment. They're the lower seed. Nobody's expecting them to win. They have less pressure, and the further it goes for the Bruins, the more pressure that mounts on them because of their historic regular season. So the Bruins, my recommendation, don't tinker with the lines. Stick with what's working. Make a couple lineup changes, which we'll discuss after the break, and then go from there. First, a quick word about today's second sponsor, which is eBay Motors. Now, for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. Next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With their guaranteed fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to my garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. It's easy to bring home the win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get those parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. Let's make some quick recommendations for Game 6 here to close out today's podcast. For one, up front, all due respect to Jake Walauko, I supported shaking things up a little bit. I liked the energy that he brought to the table in previous games, but last night he was a net negative. 7 minutes of ice time, 4 minutes in penalties, and the Florida Panthers took advantage of it with Sam Reinhart getting the lead reinstated for the Bruins after Lauko hooked Matthew Tkachuk. Frederick back in the lineup. On defense, Forbort, I love you, but not quite as effective. People talk about the penalty kill. Well, Forbort's been on the ice for both power play goals scored by the Panthers in the series. For me, Forbort out, Connor Clifton in. Those are the two moves that I would make. I've seen a lot of people say, put Swayman in for game 6. Ullmark looks tired, rusty, what have you. I'm not having it. I'm sticking with Ullmark. He's the guy that posted the best numbers in the regular season. Yes, his production, not production, but his save percentage has dipped in the postseason. You're not going to carry a 938 through the postseason very often. Tim Thomas, the GOAT, but his numbers are 912 at the moment. Still, he's your number one guy, and you got to go back with him. Swayman hasn't started for a while. I just think you got to stick with Linus Ullmark as a vote of confidence for him. Let the guys know that you believe in them as a unit. You're not going to penalize guys for misplays. Like Bergeron said, they win and lose as a team. And I don't think it's fair to pin it all on Linus Ullmark, that misplay aside. So those are some changes and non-changes that I would make. There were some positives in this one. The Bruins widely outshot the Panthers by almost a 2-1 margin, 47-25. The power play again, 2 for 5. Penalty kill, not as sharp, allowing 1 goal on 2 opportunities. the Bruins again with 17 giveaways, and that was to their detriment, of course, leading to 2 goals directly. We'll talk more about lineup for Game 6 on tomorrow's podcast, bring a full preview of Game 6, what we hope will be a decisive game for the Boston Bruins. Some learning lessons once again in the playoffs. Tampa Bay, Toronto going tonight. That series could be decided, and that team could be awaiting tonight already the winner of the Bruins Panthers series. You don't want to play extra games when the other team is sitting confident, getting rest, and the like. All right, that's it for today's episode, my friends. Thank you again for making Locked On Boston Bruins part of your day every single day. Everydayers, I appreciate you. Tag yourselves on Twitter. Let me know who the everydayers are out there. And we'll be back tomorrow to preview Game 6 and cheer on our Boston Bruins. Do we need a change? Should I change my hat for Game 6? Should I change from the boys t-shirt? Maybe go with something else? We'll discuss it on tomorrow's podcast as well. Take care of yourselves, friends. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you again soon here on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.